Tauck's 8-day Legends of the West tour begins at Custer State Park in South Dakota at the State Game Lodge. This is the location of Calvin Coolidge's summer White House in 1927. The Creekside Lodge is the most luxurious of the sleeping accommodations at Custer State Park. If you're staying at the Creekside Lodge, the State Game Lodge is the one and only place to have all of your meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The food at the State Game Lodge is cheap overall anyway, but this lunch buffet at $13.95 is a real bargain. Without a car, there are very few things you can do in Custer State Park, except for taking the buffalo safari. Sunday begins with a buffalo safari. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope.
They'll follow right along behind her. Male and female both have horns. So those big bulls are going to be 6 foot tall. That guy in the back there, 6 foot tall. He's going to weigh between 2,400 pounds. And what's going on is the mating season, and so he's walking this way, talking to this other young male. He wants him to leave the area. Too aggressive. You know, if I was to step out, Mama would be on the alert. They tell us now that bull that's talking to us, as the hair gets even with the top of their horns, when it's even, he's about 6 years old.
Crazy Horse, and we're not far from Mount Rushmore either.
Crazy Horse Mountain and Memorial. Work on the Crazy Horse Memorial began 69 years ago. And this is what the memorial will look like when it is completed about another 60 years from now. The monument will be about 400 or 500 feet high. There's the 87-foot face of Crazy Horse. A feather will be going right up there, 50-foot feather. Now to the #1 visited tourist attraction in South Dakota, Mount Rushmore. So to get to Mount Rushmore, after spending an incredible amount for parking, one passes through the Hall of Flags, or the flag pathway, and gets closer to the monument. This is as close as most people get to Mount Rushmore. But if one's willing to hike a little bit, one can get a lot closer to the bottom of the mountain.
Put your glasses on.
15 minutes to go, and there's still quite a shadow from the sun. There's a little sliver of orange light, about 97% covered. You can see it's not dark at all.
All right, so we are heading off. We are off to the TA. Well, we've always been going to the TA ranch. We're just about 45 minutes away from the ranch.
After the eclipse, the next big activity of day 3 of the tour, this ranch was the site of a major gun battle between the homesteaders and the cattle barons. And this is the barn where the cattlemen held up against the forces from Buffalo during the conclusion of the range wars. One of the fun activities at the TA ranch is horseback riding. So you get onto this little platform and you board the horse with the view of the Bighorn Mountains in the distance.
Back in the saddle again, I ride the range once more. Told my old 44, where you sleep out every night and the only lodge right. Back in the saddle again, boogie tie, rocking to and fro. Back in the...
There's a wagon ride for those that don't want to go horseback riding. Now we are going to wrangle mean-looking steers with big horns. Day 4, Tuesday of our tour. One of the most scenic aspects of the Bighorn Mountains is Shell Canyon, S-H-E-L-L. After passing through the Bighorn Mountains, we arrive in Cody, Wyoming. Buffalo Bill Cody built this town to live in, and he also built this hotel. Today, Cody is a bunch of tourist shops, antique shops, and not much else. The highlight of Cody is this incredible 100-year-old museum. Buffalo Bill, center of the West.
Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please, don't fence me in.
It's time for rodeo at the Cody, Wyoming capital of the world rodeo match. It's kind of warm out here in the 80s. You can pay to get a ride on the bull as the sun sets.
Halfway to hell, I'm in my bed. Baby, give it just like a pill. It's going down. Just say the word.
This is Buffalo Bill Cody's hunting lodge just outside of Yellowstone National Park. 14 rooms. Now enter Yellowstone National Park. We are now at the West Thumb Geyser Basin. These are thumb paint pots. It's about 200 degrees in there and 50, 60 feet deep. Here's a monstrous pool up against Lake Yellowstone. The most spectacular pool on this boardwalk walk is Black Pool. Once upon a time it was black, but it's cooled down and algae has grown, taking away the black color. This evening we are staying at the Lake Yellowstone Hotel, built in the 1890s and is a beautiful yellow color, very fancy inside. Day 6. August the 24th, Lake Yellowstone Lodge, looking out the window of our room at sunrise. We're miles away from that fall and you can hear the thunder. 308 feet. And this is the view from the upper lookout point. Next up, Norris Geyser Basin, with a lot of things you can't do. Norris Basin features sulfur-smelling gases and steam. Steam coming out of the ground everywhere. And this is what a geyser basin looks like, and this is a huge one. You're at the lower basin of Old Faithful, and you can see geysers exploding in the distance. So the hot water and chemicals are petrifying the trees. We're now a lot closer to the perpetual geyser and really feel the heat from these geysers here. Old Faithful Inn, 76 feet high, height of the lodgepole pine. Built in 1904, and everything here is original. This is quite a structure here, going way, way up. Christmas is celebrated on August the 25th at Old Faithful Inn. There are clocks everywhere in the inn telling you when the next eruption is. Standing on the patio of Old Faithful Inn, one can see a geyser going off. Not Old Faithful. There's an easy climb to an observation point where you can watch it from above. There's the Old Faithful Inn.
Friends, a stone fire, those were made of steel. Their halls were black and shiny, and their hot breath they could feel.
Now, as a rainstorm approaches, I'll be watching it from the normal viewing spots.
All the feeling through him as he thundered through the sky. He could see the riders coming hard and hear the mournful cry. Yippee-yi-yi, yippee-yi-wo. Ghost riders in the sky. Faces gone
Leaving Yellowstone National Park for the Teton National Park, about 20 miles away.
Trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds we're together?
Grand Tetons, 13,000 or so feet high. We're at about 6,000 feet. Our lunch stop is at Jackson Hole, Wyoming, or really Jackson, with a arch of antlers. Jackson is a very pretty town. This is Mormon Row with a beautiful Grand Teton National Park in the background. And this is the most photographed barn in the country, but not from this angle. This is the view that most people photograph. Friday ends with the sun setting behind the Grand Tetons. Day 8, the Grand Teton Mountains at sunrise. There's our raft approaching that we'll be taking, a sign telling us about what to expect. And there's the other group in our tour coming down. We're boarding the raft.
6 years now. I'm going to keep it that way today. So, the proper way to swim this like...
There is a moose crossing the Snake River at a ford point.
That's amazing.
You can swim there.
Wow.
But now he's a little concerned because we're coming upon him. As we move down the river, the Grand Tetons in the background. I can think of no better place to end our 8-day Legends of the West Tauck tour than looking at the Grand Teton Mountains at sunrise. This view is just totally incredible, as was the tour.